sometimes choosing an indie film to watch is like rolling the dice.
Indeed.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
You got it?
And this is, this touches on, well, a couple things.
It does.
This movie.
I mean, what I like about this movie and the lessons that it has is that it is very much a homegrown indie film.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There are different levels, and I almost think you could do kind of like a step ladder of types of indie films based on like the budget they have available and, you know, the experience of the people involved.
Right. Well, you could drive yourself mental trying to break that down. I mean, I don't think Excel is big enough.
Right.
To take all these different things that, I mean, it's talent, budget, equipment, story, writing, perspectives, all these things.
Yeah.
You know, the genre and all. And those can get broken down so much. And then you have to mix them.
Right. And there are some very like extremely professional, highly polished, incredibly done indie films. And there are also a lot of like very much small crew, homegrown. But, you know, one of my favorite ones of all time, Space Trucker Bruce.
Yeah.
And that is about as homegrown of an indie film.
It is. It's so funny. It's, you know, the making of Space Truck. Anton's story could be a movie, and it would start out with a man and a camera.
Ooh.
Create greatness.
You could be that was good.
Oh, thank you.
You could do that.
No, I couldn't be the voice guy.
No, when you listen, you should listen.
I don't have a deep enough register. It's like real, really there. Plus, some of them are just like, you know, the one, because there've been different ones who've done these, you know, there once was a man or you know, this and that. But the ones that sound
in a time when I don't even know how.
Well, I mean, and that's fine. But if there's the one that, I don't know, it's some sort of like pseudo-sexual desperation.
Yeah.
In a time when things were, I can't even do it, but it is quite something.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
What?
This movie is, I mean, we both liked it. It's very much homegrown.
Mm-hmm.
I think because our neighbors upstairs are being extremely loud right now.
Yeah, they are.
Without further ado, we should jump into it.
Let's roll into this bad boy. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hey, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Jim.
This is Danny.
And we have a Nerd Herd movie.
Too. It's nerdy to the max.
It really is.
So.
It's fun. It's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about why.
Yes.
But before we get into this, we are recording the Monday night after New Year's. We took yesterday kind of off, last of the holiday weekends. But December 31st, 2021, we lost Betty White. Most of you have probably heard about this by now. Because, you know, it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
After we record. It was rough in this house.
Yeah. I mean, I know you took it hard. I took it hard.
Well, yeah. I mean, what a career. What a woman. You know, the two are not exclusive to one another. You can't have that kind of career without being the kind of woman that Betty White was. And I mean, someone so grounded and funny, like always on.
And witty,
just, you know, sassy and crassy and just so much personality
Yeah.
and talent.
Yeah.
We were all pulling for the 100th birthday. Uh, January 17th was going to be her.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've lost another long standing icon who, goes all the way back to the beginning of television and movie entertainment.
Yeah.
It's just wild, you know. Um,
I
yeah.
know. I want to pull episodes of her on the match game
Oh, yes.
and have Lily watch those because she was so good on there. I mean, it got to the point where, like, if you wanted to be paired with someone, you wanted to be
Absolutely.
with Betty White.
Yes. Absolutely. I, you know, uh, what can we say, folks? This is a woman who, obviously not a B movie or indie
Oh
film type
gosh, no.
person. Um, but man, I tell you what, this is somebody to look at. If you haven't, go back, not just to like Mary Tyler Moore show, but way before that. Betty White had her own show, had a lot of stage, a lot of uh, pairings with some marvelous male talent. You know, she was the one you wanted to get paired with,
Oh yeah.
just in anything. So, oh man, because every time she popped up, like in the last 5 years, we're like,
Betty.
yeah, even if it was a show we were like, somewhat ambivalent about. Say, oh, Betty White's on an episode. Let's watch it
Yeah.
because it's Betty White. I mean, she's one of those. I've mentioned it before. I would love to just sit and watch her sitting in a chair watching paint dry for like 90 minutes, and I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, it's something I had put out as a post, but I think, everyone should live their life such that if they die at 99, it's too soon.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and she was just gearing up for like more interviews, and
She was so excited to get to 100, but
I know.
yeah.
And it reminded me of, and I mentioned this in an episode way, way back about George Burns. Wanted to make it to 100 and do a show at the Palladium. He did make it to 100, but he was so sick. He had fallen, broken his hip sometime before, and it wasn't in the cards. And it wasn't too long after that he passed too, but to make it to be 100,
Yeah.
that's no small thing.
No.
And these folks, these powerhouse comedians, actors, just creative talents, to live to be 100, that is amazing.
Yeah.
They have lived through every evolution of television, movies, theater, all of it. It's astounding.
Yeah.
you know. So we are saddened for that great loss. And just encourage people, check out everything you can. I mean, Golden Girls, we love it. Lily loves it.
Oh yeah.
Mary Tyler Moore show.
She was on Hot in Cleveland for a while.
Mm-hmm.
She's done a lot of voice work.
Oh, tons of voice work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? As much as I hate promoting YouTube, hit YouTube and just catch all of the outtake videos of her in movies and TV shows and stuff. Yeah, you wonder when Betty White, when Betty White walks on the set, how does anybody get anything done? Because she is just a riot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would hate to have to wrangle the cast on those days.
Mm-hmm.
Just sit back and let it happen. We're not actually taping anything today because we know better.
Yeah, just getting to spend that time with her. I'm envious.
And she's another one that anyone who's ever come into contact with her has. I don't think anyone's ever had a bad thing to say about her unless they crossed her, because Betty White was not a woman that you could just like step on her toes. She'd fucking pulverize you. And she would do it in such an elegant manner, you know. But short of that, everyone's loved the time they had
Yeah.
with her, and just, on set, off set, casual, whatever. Um, wow, that's something to aspire to be,
Yeah.
for those of us struggling to find success as creatives. And if we get to that mansion level and, never have to work a day in your life again level, but you're still going to be working. Um, wow, there's something to aspire to, be that person, not the other kind.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's really the only news that I'm aware of. Nothing big has happened in the industry.
No.
I mean, we're just breaking into a new year and holidays and such. So, but what we did was we watched a movie
Yes, we did.
that kind of tugged at our heartstrings a little bit when we saw the trailer.
Well, it did speak to us in a way that, few movies do.
Yes.
Do you want to hear about it?
I would like you to tell us about this movie.
This movie is called Zero Charisma. It was made in 2013, directed by Katie Graham and Andrew Matthews. So, continuing with our theme of women in filmmaking,
Yes.
primary director for this film was Katie Graham.
Mm-hmm.
It was written by Andrew Matthews, starring Sam Eidson, Brock England, Garrett Graham. That's the one thing about this film. If we're talking about females in filmmaking, there are no women actor. I mean, there's some.
There's one.
Yeah.
And she doesn't come in till late.
Yeah. No main characters that are women in this film.
Well, Grandma.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what you're getting at is in the sphere that this encompasses, women are not represented.
Right.
In the nerd herd.
Right.
Right.
Not rated, obviously. Indie film.
Yep.
We don't know what the budget was, but they raised to $25,000 on Indiegogo, which was actually surpassing the goal that they set on Indiegogo of, I think, 15.
Okay.
Here's the plot.
Mm-hmm.
An overgrown nerd who serves as game master of a fantasy board game finds his role as leader of the Misfits put into jeopardy when a new initiate enters the group.
Yes.
Yep.
That pretty much sets it up.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. I do want to say before we go, if they budgeted at 15,000 and they got an extra 10, I'm not sure where the money went in terms of, I don't know what they already had planned.
Yeah.
But, and we'll talk more about it, but I got to say it, cinematically really well. I mean, good quality stuff. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is kind of on par with Revenge of Zoe.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about all that later. But there you go. Money.
I get the feeling.
You do?
I get the feeling that the money went to, paying the artists and everyone kind of who was involved in bringing the very cool things that we saw in this film onto the screen.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of it.
There was. And let's talk about some of that right now. So, fade in.
Okay.
Did I get you?
Were you trying?
A little bit.
Mm.
All right. So we have a guy doing some light grocery shopping, jamming to some sort of metal music on his headphones. And he gets up to the checkout counter, and all the stuff he's got is junk food.
Yes.
Right. The checkout girl is being really snarky to him as he's checking out. And on the way home, we see a bumper sticker on his car that says, "Because I'm the game master, that's why." And I like that because I have a shirt that says, "Because I'm the dungeon master, that's why." In the car, he's talking to a passenger about what's to come later in the night. And then we see a gaming party hard at it at a table. The players keep interrupting the game master. And then his grandmother strolls into the kitchen, coughing, making noise, and he's just, he's getting furious.
He's trying to monologue while she's doing this.
Yeah, he's doing his little bit and trying to get the tone of the adventure and this, and he's coming forth, and he looks at you. Clang, clang, clang. Then she yells at Scott, who is the game master, to come open a jar.
Yes.
So he goes to do that. He comes back to the table. One of the players is sharing the latest cut of his short movie with the group. No, he's still in the kitchen. Scott's grandma is still giving him a list of shit he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma is horrible as a person, but she's hilarious.
Oh, I don't think she's horrible. I thought she was hilarious. I loved her immediately.
Oh my God, she's racist. She's sexist. She's homophobic.
That's true.
The gays. I can't even remember the last time I heard that uttered.
I didn't really catch any of that bit. I guess I was taking notes when she was going on about that. But what I caught was her just like railing on Scott.
Oh, yeah. She's just diving into him. And we learned Scott is, he's living at his grandma's.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Scott looks to be about 30, 35. 35, maybe coming up on
pushing 40.
Yeah. This whole group is not a young group.
Right.
And that's fine. But Scott, oh man. So anyway, yeah, grandma's giving him shit. Well, then one of the players is on the phone with his wife and he's in trouble for something. So they have to take a break. And we find out his wife wants a separation. And as he's telling him about this to Scott, telling Scott about this, Scott looks at his watch.
Right.
He wants to get back to the game. He wants the guy to pull himself together. The guy declines, says he has to go. And this guy is Kenny.
Okay.
Right. And so we learn right here that Scott is all about the game.
Yep.
Your wife leaving you? I don't care. You've got the 15-minute break.
I guess we can take our 5 now.
Yeah. Get over it and let's get going. So Kenny goes inside, drops a bomb. He can't play anymore. Playing the game is what is causing some of the problems in his marriage. And Scott just can't compute any of this.
Right.
Right. And then Kenny does the unimaginable. He leaves his character sheet behind so Scott can play it as an NPC.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my God. That is the hardest thing to happen. Scott rips up the sheet because he's pissed. Then we see Scott later on the phone, and he's reaching out to various people to fill the now freshly opened slot in his game.
Yeah.
He's not doing real well getting anyone taking him up. Everyone seems to just not like him. I can't imagine why. We've had, I mean, there's a lot of little things that we haven't touched on, but let's just say everything that Scott has been presented to us.
Well, I will say, and I put this in my notes, Scott's last card to play to try and get his friend to stay and play instead of going and fixing stuff with his wife. This is his last card he plays before the guy leaves. I didn't want to have to say this, but your wife's a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, and that worked out real well. So one guy that Scott calls ends up talking to Scott's grandma. And basically telling her that her grandson is a crybaby wimp. So we kind of figure he's not coming to play the game. Uh, and so the quest for the open seat at the table remains.
Yes. So next we see Scott and one of his guys, one of his nerd herd. I call him for a while Mustache Guy.
Right. So we didn't get a name right off.
Did you call him Mustache Guy?
No. I called him the passenger.
Oh.
Because he was the passenger.
Sure. Anyway, so Scott and Mustache Guy are interviewing a new, a young buck, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott, they're interviewing him for the position in their game night. And this guy doesn't have any experience playing D&D.
Right.
Or it's not D&D, but, whatever it is. So Scott goes into an intense monologue about like video games versus communal storytelling and, blah, 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 blah. And the kid's like, well, I don't play video games. I play World of Warcraft. And Scott just like goes off.
Yeah. And this, mind you, this is in a donut shop.
Is it a donut shop? Because I got the feeling it was a like Chinese place.
There were donuts, a whole rack of donuts behind
Oh. Anyway. So Scott, he scares the kid off. And the interview place is Scott's day job. Because he's been interviewing this kid on his break, apparently. So his boss comes out and gives him some shit. And we also learn that Scott's a little racist.
Yeah, not as bad as Grandma.
Right. I don't know if there's degrees of it, but
I suppose.
So the delivery that he has to make is to the local game store. And Scott's not happy about this.
Right.
Which I initially is like, that's weird. You'd think that he would like going there. But the guys there apparently ordered the food just specifically to give Scott shit because he's the only delivery driver for this place. And it turns out he used to work there until he got fired.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, surprise. And they learned that someone named Greg Gorin is coming there for a signing. Is this a real person or did they just make him up for the...
You didn't look it up.
No. Why would I look it up?
Because it's a question you had.
I don't know. I just thought of it now.
Oh.
Do you know?
Maybe.
You don't know.
No.
Okay, so he's not a real person. God. So, a guy comes up in the store. He's asking about the games that the store runs because they run, tabletop games during the week, and they say that all their tables are always full, and this is just like pissing Scott off more. And Scott's like poaches this guy to play his own game.
Yeah.
And it's not D&D, but something he has devised. And I wrote a personal note here. I watched them play. It's D&D enough to be just called D&D.
Right. but it's his own creation.
Sure.
Of some sort.
Right.
On that note, quick. It is virtually impossible to come up with a role-playing game and not call it Dungeons and Dragons. Right? We've had Might and Magic, we had Secret Agent, we had Knights and something, and Swords and Sorcery. They were all D20 based games for combat, role-playing games. They just had different angles on the rules and stuff because it was super hard. You can't patent a role-playing game. And it's, you can copyright the verbatim of the written material, but
right.
You can't say, oh, well, it's a game where you roll a 20-sided dice. No, he holds the patent on all things.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
So the guy agrees to come and fill the spot at Scott's table. and this guy's name is Miles.
Mm-hmm.
And Miles is like your basic hipster dude. He's younger also.
Yeah.
Like he's in his 20s.
Yeah.
So Miles shows up for game night. He has brought a 6-pack, obviously not something they usually partake in because they're all like taken aback by this.
Right? It's
Scott apparently doesn't allow alcohol at his table.
It's like living in a puritanic household and somebody brings in soda.
Right.
And you're both horrified and delighted.
Right.
At the same time, but you're like, I don't know what to do.
And then the guys ask Miles, they've been having an argument.
I love this argument.
About the Enterprise versus the Millennium Falcon.
Yes.
And which one's faster.
Yes.
And Scott immediately is like, you guys, we've already had this argument 100 times. There's no way to tell. And Miles is like, actually, and goes into this reasonable argument.
A reasonable argument. Can I talk about the argument, please?
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Sure.
So the argument was that, because Scott was saying you can't gauge how fast the Millennium Falcon goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we know how fast the Enterprise goes, and Scott goes, no. Or Miles goes, no. The Enterprise or the Millennium Falcon, made the Kessel run in 12 parsecs. So you could devise that by, from that, the space between all these things and that. So, they went from here to here in such and such a time. And this is the distance between the solar system and this and that. And I thought, well, that's pretty good. Pretty good. But I called Mulligan on that one because there's a better way to do it. It says, actually, right in Star Wars, when they first see the Millennium Falcon, Luke says, what a piece of junk. Han Solo says, shall make 0.5 past light speed. Bam. There's a hard number. That's all it is. I just wanted to point that out because I'm a fucking nerd. And I caught that. And I thought, I get the conversation. I myself would have suggested that go in the script. Just saying.
You're adorable.
Well, thank you.
Scott is very emasculated by Miles's argument.
Well, we've seen at this point when they try to speak up, Scott just like whoosh, cracks the whip, right? Miles just basically told him to fuck off indirectly by continuing to speak. So yeah, you can see Scott just like brewing.
Yeah. So while they're playing, the other thing that ticks Scott off is that Miles is a pretty good role player.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
He is doing a lot of improv and he's like throwing in jokes and he's like being very funny and charming.
And social.
Yeah.
Myself, that part bugged me. I was on Scott's side.
What do you mean?
Well, when you're in the middle, especially as the dungeon master, but even as a player, right? When we're in the middle of something and then someone starts fucking talking about the tide in California, I tend to get pissed off. It's like, what the, you're not part of this conversation anymore. And we're right in the fuck. It's like walking into a movie theater, right? Covering up the screen and then talking about how much you love bananas.
Right.
Nobody wants that, So I kind of got a little bit Scott's angst,
Oh. Well, I mean, Scott's far too serious about all this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he takes it to an extreme.
Yeah.
I just, for me, when you're in a role play, it's not super serious, but you also, everyone needs to stay on board.
Yeah.
And well, like the other night I was talking and Lily started going on and I shut her shit down. Like, do you mind if the dungeon master actually finishes what he was saying before you go on about something that has absolutely nothing to do with anything we're doing? And that sounds dickish, but you fucking interrupted me for a game you want to play, and you're talking about something that has nothing to do with anything. That's just, you don't even do that in like regular conversation. So, I mean, there are limits,
Sure.
right? But yeah, Scott is like anal retentive. He's a Hun with this.
Yeah. So yeah, Scott is like thrown by this whole situation. And then Miles's phone goes off while he's playing, and it's his girlfriend. And there's a little conversation where all the guys are like jealous of Miles's relationship with his girlfriend.
Right. We got to back up a little bit though. You skipped over like the best part that set Scott off.
Okay.
While you're talking about the role play, what Miles did to throw Scott off balance was Scott was doing his narrative. You're standing and out comes the night and this and that. And Miles goes, I'm just going to throw my fucking sword at his head. And Scott's like, what? Because they had all these decisions to make.
Right.
He goes, I'm just going to throw my fucking sword at his head. And he looks at the guys, right? Should we just be done with this? And then, Scott's like, well, you need to roll a 20. And he does.
Yeah.
So what he effectively did is what we've talked about a while ago. He completely obliterated the narrative that Scott had planned. You guys have done it to me.
You guys have done it to me.
We've done it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing about being a game master in any role play is you got to roll with it. If you can't, you're in the wrong chair. Right?
Yeah.
A game master doesn't know the game by heart. Is somebody who is a storyteller and can be adaptive and do improv at any moment.
I mean, I often find that creates some of the best moments.
Well, it does, but also a good game master can bring the narrative. Like if there is something that has to go a certain way, just like in film, right? You can have all this wild shit, but a good game master or dungeon master will, no matter what anyone's doing, will just reel that in, funnel it, get the thing done, and then let it go the way it was going, But yeah, that's what pissed him off.
Yeah.
And the others were like,
you can't do those things?
That's like a free thinker choice.
Right. So, yeah. Later that evening, Scott is painting miniatures. And his friend Mustache is commenting on how fun Miles was. Scott is super pissed about it and like goes off. I learned that Mustache's name is Wayne. And then what is like the most disturbing scene of this entire film to me, Scott comments on a zit on Wayne's face.
Oh God, I didn't even write that down.
I wrote it down because it really disturbed me, and it really like very clearly illustrated the control issues that Scott has in controlling his little world and controlling his friends and controlling everything around him.
Yeah. Well, Wayne has a laptop.
Yeah.
While they're talking, and before the zit thing, he actually takes Wayne's laptop from him to see what he's fucking around with.
Yeah.
And sees that Wayne's looking at online dating.
Right.
And I didn't write it down, but he crushes him with a fucking like rock solid insult, way out of the league of friends.
Right.
Right. I would never, I say some harsh shit to people, friends and stuff, but everyone knows.
But it's something along the lines of like, you'll never get a girlfriend because you're such a fucking loser.
Yeah. He's such an ugly loser.
Right.
And it wasn't with any kind of tone.
No.
Because you saw Wayne's reaction. You see Scott's reaction to his, like, well, what's wrong, pussy?
Right.
It's just true kind of look.
So
but then this happened.
Scott literally jumps on top of him, crushing him. And Scott's a big dude.
Yeah, Scott's a big guy.
He's a large and in charge dude. And Wayne is he's a waif of a man. And
he's like Mr. Bean.
So literally jumps on him to pop the zit on his face.
I know. God.
And it's wildly inappropriate and incredibly disturbing.
And with all of this, Wayne still ends up sleeping over.
Yeah.
Scott wakes him up at one point during the night so Scott can go on about some past game. Remember when, like, I made one of the characters have terminal farting?
I can be funny too.
I can be funny too. And we all know people like this, right? They have to be in charge. They take not even betas, right? They take the omegas of the pack in society and form their group out of them, knowing that even together they'll never stand against me,
Right.
kind of thing. But when their stuff is challenged, they're like, well, I'm funny too, and I'm this and that. So we all know that kind of person. As he's going on, we hear Grandma yelling out his name. He ignores it and he's going on. And then we hear her yelling again. Then we hear a thud from somewhere in the house.
Mm-hmm.
The next scene, they're at the hospital. Grandma's had a stroke. And then later, we see him sometime later taking her home. So the whole hospital thing was pretty quick.
He does phone someone when she's in the hospital. Someone called Barbara.
Yes. And I thought maybe a sister or a cousin, know, right? Well, Barbara is Scott's mom. And she shows up at the house, at Grandma's house, saying she's going to stay there as well. And then she introduces Bob, her boyfriend. Grandma is not terribly pleased that Barbara is there. Scott I thought he was boosting some of her medicine.
No, he was just like.
Right. Yeah. But it just looks so shady. It's like he was, like, oh my God.
He's just a shady looking dude.
Well, but he had his back turned and everything. I thought on top of all of this, the guy's fucking going to steal his grandma's drug. This is way out of nerd herd territory. Who is this guy? Grandma tells Bob that Barbara was once part of a sex cult. She's just going on. She tell you she was in a commune with hippies. She tell you it was a sex cult. Yeah, good old Grandma. And then Scott gives the medicine to Grandma, so he's not boosting it. That's what I wrote. And then Mom and Grandma start arguing, and I'm just like, wow. I almost see how Scott turned out the way he did.
So Barbara, immediately, the actress who plays Barbara is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Because she has a little bit of dialogue. She doesn't have a ton.
Right.
Right. But in this one scene, you get the whole picture of her, and the actress does a fantastic job of painting this picture of Mom. Here's in my notes. I wrote, she came to, quote, help and, quote, get the house in order.
Right.
And the sarcasm in my notes here is like just dripping.
Yeah. And this argument was some singers back and forth.
Yeah.
Wow, man, what is up with this family?
But you know immediately that Barbara has come fishing.
Oh, yeah. She's got her stopwatch.
Yeah.
She's just waiting. Tickety tick.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we find out she's been gone forever. She walked out on Scott. That's why Scott's with Grandma, or was with Grandma as a kid. But now at almost 40 or so, he's still there. Later, Scott is shirtless in the basement and painting again.
Oh, it's his bedroom.
Oh, yeah, bedroom. I wrote basement because at first we didn't get a full shot of it. So yeah, he's in his bedroom painting, and he's acting out a scene with the figures. One is him. One is Miles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just really weird. And then Bob walks in, and Scott just like covers everything up and shrieks, "Knock!"
It's like he walked in on Scott masturbating.
That was exactly what I thought. It was the same. It was like every teen movie where someone walks in on a 12-year-old.
Knock!
Damn, Grandma. So then Bob quickly backs out, knocks on the door, and then comes in. And Bob is trying to make a connection. And this character is one of those, he's a nice guy, but he is just not connected. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then he starts talking sports. And, Scott could not be less interested,
Right.
as are most people in that circle, right? And then he tells Bob he's going to bed. The next morning, Barbara and Bob are cleaning, and she's got Bob inspecting the wiring. So when Scott opens up his bedroom door, there's a ladder right there.
Right.
Bob's got the ceiling ripped open, the ceiling and wires and shit. And then Scott informs his mother that it's game night, and she and Bob need to clear out. She gives him some shit about it. Like, oh my God, you're still playing elves and fairies and da 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 da. The thing about this at this point, we don't have to say this to the end, but we'll talk about it. This does not paint stellar pictures of what actual D&D people
No.
are like. I mean, this is kind of a throwback to the 90s. The basement.
I feel like this movie is kind of a throwback.
Yeah, the basement dwelling grunge, right?
Yeah.
Living at home kind of thing. We've had a lot of that. And so this is kind of like that. Do you want to take it from game night?
Yeah.
Do it.
So, in game night, before the game is kind of starting, Miles is giving feedback on the guys' film because they showed it to him, and he mentions that he could put it on his website, which it turns out is one that they all constantly frequent. It's called Geek Chic.
And it's not his website.
Right.
It's his company's website. He's the co-founder.
He's a founding editor.
Yeah. So it's an official, it's a real thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a successful company.
Yes.
And their guys are all like excited about it. And then Scott jumps in about he's like, oh, I have a blog too. It gets 15 visitors a week. And he gets all riled up about it when they're like, that's not exactly the same thing as having a successful website. And he's like, we both put stuff on the internet.
Yeah. Didn't he say like 700,000 hits a week?
Right.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah. So mom comes out and tells him that he needs to call off game night because they're being too loud.
Yes.
Or something. And he tells her she can stay at a hotel if she doesn't like it. And they bicker a bit, and she eventually sits down intending to join the game.
Yep.
And Scott is not about it. And she just immediately starts like tearing into him in front of the guys, telling embarrassing stories. And these aren't like your typical embarrassing stories.
No. Do you got the big one?
I didn't actually write down what the stories were.
So the big one, after she gives them, she's going on about all these little things, right, that make the others laugh a little bit. And that's bad enough. And then she drops the bomb. She says, well, do you know why he was suspended in 8th grade? I'm like, no. Why? Because he was caught jacking off to a Wonder Woman comic book in the school bathroom. And then Scott that was it. He's like, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
And it's done.
Which is what Barbara wanted all along.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in his room, Scott ends up punching a hole in the wall. And this is so funny. So he punches through a poster, and then he pulls the poster next to it to cover up the hole. And there's a hole under that poster.
Yep.
And then we get kind of like a mopey day scene with Scott where he's like sadly ordering a drive-through burger, and it drips on the dungeon he's designing while he sits in his car eating alone.
Yeah, all kinds of things go on. He drops some stuff doing deliveries or just
and he is pulling up his game master supplies. He's got a little crate that he's toting up to a door. And this is Miles's house because Miles had offered up his house as a place they could play.
Right.
And a blonde girl answers enthusiastically. Um, and it's Kendra, Miles's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And she seems very nice,
Oh, yeah. Upbeat and pleasant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So he walks in and Miles is showing the rest of the guys pages from a comic book that he's working on. And they're all super impressed. Miles is the guy who's just like good at everything that he does.
Yeah. That's the character. It's like he's the Midas touch.
Right.
Talent, unbounded, unlimited.
Right. And oh, so humble.
Mm-hmm.
So while they're talking, because Scott has sat down on the couch, Kendra like climbs over the couch to sit next to him. And he's very intimidated by her.
Oh, yeah.
Like he doesn't know what to do. And she just starts talking to him. She asks to see his hands. She's been studying, reading people's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then as Miles is talking about how he's in talks with the publisher, Scott claims to have written The Matrix. He's like, be careful about that. And he goes into the story about how he actually wrote The Matrix. And then the Coen brothers stole it.
Well, I love how Miles's questions were logical.
Yeah.
You wrote a screenplay. No, it was a short story. I submitted it to a contest. Was it called The Matrix? No. Were the characters or the plot the same as The Matrix? No.
Right.
But I submit it to this contest. I don't win. And a year later, The Matrix comes out.
Right.
Miles is like, well, I think The Matrix was in production
for more than a year.
More than a year before it came to theaters.
Yeah. And Scott completely freaks out about it. We have yet another awkward moment with the group.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how does this guy not see that he is the problem here? Scott, you're the problem. And then we see him in the bathroom crying while we can hear all the guys and everyone laughing outside.
Right.
Scott's meticulously crafted world, his meticulously controlled world is like falling apart. But this is how narcissists operate. And I think that Scott is definitely a narcissist. And that's the thing, like his little world that he has imagined around himself, right? Where he is controlling his friends and everything. I mean, part of it's real, but most of it's just fantasy. He is not the guy that he believes himself to be.
Right.
So then we see them playing the game. Everyone's having fun. Scott is staring daggers at Miles the whole time. I do want to say, Wayne wears the best shirts in this movie.
I know you commented on that while we were watching it. You're like, I just love his shirts.
I love them.
They are cool.
Yeah. So during the game, Miles throws a wrench into Scott's storyline again, causing Scott to fudge a saving throw that he makes behind the screen. But Kendra sees it behind and she calls him out on it because he lies about what the dice says.
Yeah.
And then he gets pissed at Miles for trying to mess the game up. And Miles is like, I thought we were just supposed to be having fun. And Scott further digs the hole that he's in by insulting all of his friends during his rant, going on about how Miles is just using them. Miles is, goes and laughs about all of, the losers that he plays games with.
That was it. He yells at Miles, yeah, you're the kind of fucking guy that surrounds yourself with losers so you can be the most interesting guy in the room.
And Miles is like, I don't think that you guys are losers.
Right.
It's a pretty well done argument.
Yeah.
And then Kendra kicks him out. And Scott thinks that everyone will leave with him. And they will not. No. This is the big turning point. They don't want to play his game anymore. And Scott is like, we've put 3 years of work into this, blah, 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 blah. And Miles says, and this is actually, I wrote the line verbatim here. It's not supposed to be work, Scott. It's supposed to be fun.
Right.
And that's the thing that nicely encapsulates the problem. It isn't fun for them. And even Wayne abandoned Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott's last ditch effort to keep them with him is to offer them experience points.
If you come with me, you get 500 experience points.
Yeah.
It's just crickets.
No dice. I mean, I do hope, like, this is the point in the film where I hope that Scott is going to see the error of his ways. Because weirdly, although I don't like him as a person, I do want to see him grow. And I think that speaks to, like, the way that this was written and directed and acted.
Yeah.
I'm invested.
Yeah. So he leaves alone. At home, Scott is playing out a scene of killing Miles with his minis. The next morning, an appraiser shows up at the house. So it turns out Barbara is trying to sell Grandma's home. Grandma comes out, right? She's been supposed to be upstairs. And it's hilarious. They're like, yeah, Grandma, you're supposed to be in bed resting. She goes, bed resting? While we take care of you. He goes, shit, I could have been up there dead for the last 40 minutes as often as you guys come in.
4 hours.
Or 4 hours.
She says.
Yeah. So I just get up and take care of myself. So anyway, when she finds out that Barbara has an appraiser there, she rips into Barbara. And then Barbara lets on that she's got a mountain of debt, and Bob doesn't know about it. I just wrote, this woman is a piece of work. Oh, man.
Yeah.
And later, because Barbara's big plan is to get Grandma to move into a home and then sell the house and give her a huge chunk of the money.
Yeah.
To pay off her debts. Right. Scott's like, this is our house. That'll never happen. Blah, 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 blah. Later, Grandma's explaining to Scott that Barbara, regardless of all the bullshit, is her daughter, and her daughter is asking her for help.
Yeah.
And Scott is angry, tries to say he's taking care of Grandma for years, and man, does she fucking put him straight. Scott has done fuck all.
Yeah.
Right? He's not just living there in his advanced years with a job as a fucking delivery, part-time, we find out, delivery guy.
Yeah.
For the donut shop or Chinese shop or whatever. He doesn't do anything around the house.
No, he does nothing. He doesn't even buy groceries.
He said he did something once, and then she corrected him.
Yeah.
But anyway, after she sets him straight, he explodes and says he's going to get a lawyer and sue them both because he was supposed to get the house when Grandma dies. Right?
Yeah.
And then he goes on this toddler tantrum in his room, just throwing shit around, destroying everything, And then we cut to the game store, and we've got this writer guy. I didn't even write his name down.
Greg Gorin.
Yeah. To do a Q&A, and he's just an absolute dick.
Oh, yeah. He
right?
is.
Just starts out before he's just a fucking dick. Anyway, he's written a book on how to be a game master, essentially. Scott shows up at the store. He ends up apologizing to the assistant manager for his earlier behavior. We find out Scott was the assistant manager, got fired because he was busy. We'll come back to that. Anyway, so the assistant then he asks for his old job back. The assistant manager laughs, and Scott starts begging.
Yeah.
And then the speaker comes out. The assistant manager is like, let's talk about this later. And right away, the guy shits on the first question that's asked. Just like an absolute dick. I didn't write it down. Did you write it down?
I didn't write down the question.
But it was like, I've submitted, this idea and it's being rejected. I mean, can you give me some sort of.
The first question was actually about like speed differentials, like walking speed differentials in an old version versus a new version. and how to reconcile them or something.
Was it?
Yeah. And the guy was like, I mean, that's been accounted for in the rules if you read them. So
Something. Well, anyway, one of the questions was, do you have any advice, getting things out to a publisher? And his thing was, well, yeah, write something that somebody will like write a better story or something. Just just these real curt dickish things. And then Scott asks something about taking the game seriously, right? And the response actually in this case was pretty on cue. Was basically, it's a fucking game.
well, yeah, he asked a question that's designed to get Greg to validate his behavior with his
friends. And he gets the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets his friends validated on it's supposed to be fun. Yeah, you put in hours of planning and for the storytelling and all, but that's part of it. If you don't love doing it and it's work, then you are not supposed to be playing that game or be involved with it.
Right.
We spend many hours each week prepping, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because we want the players to have fun,
Mm-hmm.
not to build our iron tower from which there's no escape. You'll play it the way I want you to play it.
Right.
Right. But yeah, it's this whole big thing. So anyway, he just fucking nails Scott to the cross.
Yeah.
Scott loses his shit again. In this whole tirade thing that goes on, we find out from the assistant manager that Scott, as the previous assistant manager, was fired because the register was robbed while he was in the back room jerking off to anime.
Yep.
Yeah, not 12. Like last year.
Right. And Scott's like, yeah, you can't prove that happened. And the guy's like, who here has not seen the tapes?
Right, because they've got everything. The whole store is on surveillance.
Yeah.
So,
oof.
Yeah, then we see him speeding to Miles's house in a rage. He busts in. The place is full of people. Miles sees him and calls Wayne and telling him to come get Scott because he crashed the party. And Wayne asks, you're having a party?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to mention though.
Yes.
As Scott is Scott goes around, he's talking to the party goers.
Right.
And they're like, how do you know Miles? And Scott goes, he's my nemesis.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah.
That comes up later. I don't know if you noted it. I didn't note it, but yeah, it comes up later. Like, hey man, I didn't even know you could have a nemesis.
That's so cool.
So Wayne looks heartbroken.
Yeah.
And he's like, huh. And I'm thinking, seems Scott was right.
Well, I mean, partially.
He was 100% right. None of these people in Scott's group that Miles came in to be the big shit, none of them are at this party. If you have friends, you invite them to your party, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of my thing, because none of these people were Mensa members, right? The one dude at the pool, I mean, he was as, I don't know, surfer in Pittsburgh as you can get.
Yeah.
Right. So that was my thought. I wrote this down. I'm like, so Scott was right, like it or not. And no matter how he put it, Miles is a dick.
Yeah. Miles is a dick.
And then Scott is telling a story. Some guy's recording him on his phone.
Yes. So Miles comes in and Scott immediately asks him why the game guys aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Miles's friends are egging on Scott to challenge Miles to a duel because that's what he's been going on about this whole time.
Yes.
And they start fencing with crutches. Right? Scott ends up hitting Miles, and then getting punched, and Miles stops being nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of a long, drawn out thing.
It is. This happens, that happens, but that's where we end up.
The tail and end of it. And then Wayne, who has shown up by now, sees this happen and attacks Miles And this is the funniest thing. The point at which Miles decides he's had enough and kicks them out is when he realizes that in the scuffle, some of his hair has been pulled out.
Yeah.
He's got a small bald spot.
Yeah. So when Wayne shows up, he sees Miles kicking Scott's ass. Wayne comes in like a true fucking, like a cavalier.
Yeah.
Vroom, jumps on fucking Miles. Miles tosses him like he's, dirty tissue. But Wayne is holding a full fistful of fucking hair.
Yeah.
And Kendra's like, ah. And then he looks at the hair, and then they show the side of his head, and there's just this massive clump bald spot. Just, oh my God, bleeding and everything.
And he's like, get the fuck out.
Yep.
So Wayne is driving them back. Scott has a little, like a smidgen of growth on this car ride, wherein he admits to Wayne about the time that he kind of like gaslighted Wayne about the online dating.
Oh, yeah.
Saying that, he only did that because he needed someone to be more of a loser than himself.
Yeah.
And he kind of apologizes for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, admitting it is the first step, I guess, And then we see Scott watching TV with Nana, and we learn that they are in the retirement home.
In Arizona.
So they've sold the house and moved just like Barbara wanted them to.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara doesn't visit it as often as she promised she would with this new arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
But Scott does all the time. Why? He works in the retirement home.
He has a real job.
Yeah. And he is running his game there for some of the residents.
Yep.
And I love it. During the game, Scott is still like, this is his new little, nerddom circle.
Yep.
But during the game, he does show a teeny tiny bit of give in his GM style, wherein one of the guys wants to seduce someone, I think.
Yeah.
And Scott's like, it's going to be a pretty high DC. And he starts to say 20, and then he's like, 19.
Yeah.
Because the guy reasons out why he should be able to do it. And I'm like, I guess that counts.
Yeah. I mean, in all, they're not following the rules that much better than his friends.
Right.
And he's not exploding.
Right.
He looks still agitated.
Yeah.
Right.
He does get a face for a minute where he's like,
yeah. But so he grew a little. I mean, he's got a job.
Yeah.
And he's, helping take care of his grandmother because that's his job. He's an assistant.
Yeah.
Right at the home, making sure they have what they need and going around and, stealing time on his break to play that game.
He does live with his mom, though, now.
Yeah, with Barbara and Bob.
Yeah.
Yes. But baby steps.
Right.
And that is zero charisma.
Yeah. Aptly named.
I was just going to say that. Aptly named, because Scott has no charisma, game style or lifestyle.
No.
Real world charisma, none at all. So. We liked this movie.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was, Scott is not somebody we ever really felt compassion for.
No.
Because he's got a myriad of issues going well beyond the scope of the film.
Yeah.
Right? We just get small servings of them in everything that he does.
I mean, I think that this is a very good example of how you can definitely have a film with a protagonist that is not a likable person.
Right. The nerd herd is likable. I liked all those guys. Especially
all of them too.
Wayne is the quintessential friend, right?
Yeah.
You can push the greatest friend to a limit. And we had that at Miles's where he's like, I can't anymore. Right. But when push comes to shove, he's there. Right.
Yeah.
he came back and he's like, oh, no, 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 no. And he knows he's going to get his buttercream ass kicked.
Oh, yeah.
But he just jumps in it.
Yeah.
You know? I just love that. It was the most heroic part of the movie. So let's talk technical stuff first. And
Okay.
we'll talk story stuff. Well done on the filming.
Yeah. Very well executed technically. It's clear that this was a professional operation.
Right. Well, or at the very least, they knew what they were doing.
Sure.
I mean, there's, because there's always that level of what do you call professional? It's like a professional is the one who like has steady income and does this for a living, right? Let's talk about like Cliff and Marty and Eric and Jeff, right?
Right.
As filmmakers, they are proficient, and you could count what they do as professional because they know what the hell they're doing. But, they, like every indie filmmaker, they have to do all this shit around their jobs.
Right.
Right. Now, Eric is the president of a production company, so he's got a job in that field. So he's a professional, right? But when it comes to the, the Zoe films, it's indie all the way, right?
Oh, yeah.
But they do know what they're doing, and they're very good at it.
Yes.
This crew also knew what they were doing, and they're very good at it. The lots of shots, like not the camera in the back of the room catching all the action kind of thing. So many takes of scenes, obviously, to get it right, and then shooting the same scene from scene 12A, 12A1 because we're going to do the
Right.
close up, 12A2 because we're going to do an under, and this and that. Sound was really good.
Yeah, it was.
It caught everything.
Yeah.
And there was some Foley in there, you could tell.
Oh, yeah.
If you've never shot a film, listeners, almost every little thing that happens in a movie is artificial.
The sound wise.
Yeah, because the boom mic is to catch the dialogue and pretty much nothing else.
Right.
So the dice rolling, they have to mic it for the scene, or they have to Foley it. Right. So if you have a scene where he's throwing the dice on the table, obviously they got a microphone right there. Okay. But if you're shooting someone talking while they're rolling a die, you're not going to, I just step away from the mic. This is
right.
Not even 2 feet, just to the side by leaning. And then here I am. So it's that finicky.
Yeah. There are different kinds of microphones, but like say you're filming a scene in a restaurant, you catch the dialogue. Everyone else is just mouthing words. They're not saying anything. And then you add in all the restaurant sounds.
Yes.
Afterwards.
Yeah. Because the boom mics, they're shotgun mics. They're pinpoint. They're, if we had like the Rode that we use for BF McGillicuddy, it's a shotgun mic, right? So I have to get it pointed at the right way. And all the other stuff doesn't happen in the background. You can still catch like room noise because room noise is the whole room. Because it happens right in front of the microphone. But a lot of stuff going on, and none of it is muddled. So that they either mic'd for the shots when someone wasn't speaking, or they did a lot of Foley work, which is sweet.
Well, yeah.
Just doing sound, and we know that from talking to David so many times, sound can take 6-8 months, a year.
Yeah.
Just to get that mixed right, so you can hear everything, and it does sound like you're in the room. Anyway, nothing was lost. No mumblies, no off to the side stuff.
Right.
Well done.
Color and lighting was really consistent throughout, and it was well done. Mm-hmm. The framing was good. The performances were really good.
Yes. Well, I don't count that as technical.
Sure.
But let's talk about performance.
Okay.
They were good. They were consistent. I like Miles' character.
I like him too.
Because in the end, he is exactly what Scott pointed him out to be, to me. Because none of those people there First of all, he was embarrassed about the whole mention of gaming. If you remember, and Scott was going on, and Miles and all of his friends are like, "What? These are not gamers. These are not tabletop role playing, any
Right.
kind of thing, right? These are his douchebag crowd,
Sure.
his pseudo hipster, douchebag lifestyle, right? I'm a editor and I'm co-founder, and this is the kind of stuff that I float in. Basically he is. He's trying to be the biggest dick in the room, not attitude wise, but he just wants to be, you know, look at me. I'm the most interesting person here, and you are all my crew, kind of thing.
Right. But he's a lot more intelligent about the way he does it than Scott is.
Well, he's not bossing people around. He's choosing. He did what Scott did. He found all the omegas in that lifestyle and surrounded himself with them. And he's the big dude, right? And it turns out he's just a dick. Because again, if he was genuine about what he was doing and making new friends, all these guys would have been at the party.
Right.
But until that moment, right, Miles was written and performed in such a way that you're kind of like, man, Scott, give it up. You're almost on
Yeah.
Team Miles. He's like, he's just a fresh perspective. He's not beaten down
Right.
by Scott over a 3-year period. And he just is looking to do things different.
Yeah.
Right? Inject himself into this world. But then, the reveal, boom, dick.
Right. So, yeah. And I think even the like secondary characters like Nana and Mom and even Bob,
Mm-hmm.
the guy at the game store, the manager,
Yep.
just,
Every second someone was on screen, it mattered. And
yeah.
and you could see that they meant to make it matter.
Yeah.
Because nothing was, it's, almost a week since we've seen it. Haven't forgotten anybody.
I mean, even she just had one scene, but the woman who played Scott's boss at the delivery place.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was so good. Nothing was flat.
Right.
Right. This wasn't one of those where we're going to make a movie and I'm just going to get my friends and we're going to do it. And you can tell nobody has any acting experience or even interest other than we're just going to help our friend make his movie. Right.
Yeah. They made every character memorable.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, Barbara was great.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't like her as a person.
No.
But the actor was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And Grandma.
And Grandma.
She's horrible, but Jesus Christ, she's hilarious. And it was also natural.
Yeah.
The dialogue was fitting.
Mm-hmm.
We know because we live on that side of the fence. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the story. As we said in the beginning, this doesn't do favors.
No, it doesn't.
The role-playing crowd.
No.
But here's the thing. I firmly believe there are folks who would watch this and be gravely insulted.
I think that too.
Because it really is a bad take.
Yeah. And we did briefly discuss that after we watched the movie.
Yeah. Like, oh, wow. That wasn't very flattering.
No.
Like we had mentioned, the one thing that was saddening that a woman wasn't involved in the group.
Right.
In the sphere. Now, in the audience, when this guy doing his Q&A, there were women there.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a representation. But I really would have liked to have seen one of the guys' roles be a woman.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing added by them all being men. I would have written it in. I think it would have worked with a female presence in the group, just because it's one of those things. It's just an easily noticeable. You pointed it out.
Yeah.
That was the first thing you notice. Huh. It's all dudes.
Right.
there are desperate women just like desperate men who form in these groups. Um,
Well, and I think that is kind of like the point of the story. So it is
yeah.
easy to forgive, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm not ridiculing. It just,
Oh, I know. Um, I liked this story because I think that it is an excellent example of, I don't know how to word it exactly. Like, I mean, it's a little bit of a redemption story, right?
mm-hmm.
But it is also like, I feel like maybe this is a story that you could show to someone who is maybe like kind of like Scott,
Yeah.
to be like, hey, I think you should watch this movie, my friend.
Well, the sad thing is you're not going to get too many non-gamers involved in this film to watch it. Like you couldn't give it to like a sports guy. He,
Right.
they typically aren't interested in this kind of stuff.
Well, in much the same way that
Vice
it'd
versa.
be hard to get us to watch a football game.
Yeah. I think what you're getting at is it's a very, uh, it's about having a very myopic view.
Yeah.
I mean, Scott is laser focused on one thing, and that feeds into his need to be in control,
Yes.
right? So he needs to be in control, and he's only focusing on the game, and the game has to go this way.
Well, because it is, I mean, if you look at his life, he was not set up for success. This game is the only thing he has in which he is fully in charge of his world.
Right. And one thing we didn't mention in the notes, this is his game, and he has been trying to get it published.
Well, he hasn't actually written it,
No, but
but he says he's been trying to get it published.
yeah, that's the thing.
He just needs to write it first.
Yeah. But anyway, so it is his creation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I talked about it's hard to get a non D&D game and not call it D&D because anyway, um, it it's really about no matter what you do, and it's not just gaming, sports people, right? Anything out there, if you focus on it too much, you're missing out. You're missing out on what it is supposed to give to you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and how do you treat the people around you, right? Because I have heard people we've had these discussions about locker room
Sure.
discussions, right? Now, being a man, I have spent most of my life surrounded by other men in the workplace, out there, and everywhere. And Jesus Christ, when they talk sports, some of them are fucking vicious. And they get at it with one another. Nobody can see. They see one thing one way about whatever game it is, and there is no talking to them.
I mean, yeah, much in the same way, like if you walked into a comic book store and was like, who's the best superhero?
Right. I'm going to roll in there. I'm going to say Shazam is better than everybody in here, and I'm just not going to listen to any of you. Well, sir, I might disagree. Nope, 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 nope. Living that outlook is terrible because you miss out on, you know, I have Wolverine is my favorite superhero overall, right? I've loved Black Panther, Falcon, you know, Captain America, Batman, Superman, but Wolverine is like my guy, right? It's like out of all the
I
Star
get
Wars,
it.
it's Boba Fett, right?
Yeah.
But I am willing to have a discussion and hear dissenting views on who people think are better than Wolverine because I'm interested in opinions. And the whole thing of having an interest in anything is to be able to find other people with the same interest and have discussions.
Yeah.
Experience points of view. Get educated, give education, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, it is defeating the purpose of having an intense interest in something if you are not interested in hearing anyone else's experience with that thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It makes it worse for your experience and for other people's experience.
Well, and how can you enjoy it if you are so focused on maintaining your view
Yeah.
and shutting everybody out and doing all this stuff? How are you enjoying your whatever it is, your hobby, your interest, your
Yeah.
passion? Right? We've talked about writing. right? Everything that you do to some level is work,
Well, yeah.
right? But if you look at it as work, then there's a problem. But we have to do work to prep for our games. We have to do work to prep the next story we're going to write.
Right.
You got to outline it. You got to figure out what's it about, who's in it, this, what's the beginning, middle, end. And then while you're writing it, would he say that? Would she say that? Would they say that? What would they say? What do you think should happen next? Little thing here and there. Because you got the beats. You don't have the whole thing laid out. When you do that, it's called a script.
Right.
There's a lot of work that goes into it. But the actual creation of it, the actual doing of it is fucking wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the same thing with love of movies. We've had discussions, like over Christmas, had some movie discussions, and I like movies some people didn't, and I didn't like movies some people did. But you know what?
I mean, you and I don't always agree on movies.
Absolutely.
You know.
Manborg.
Why?
I do.
2001.
Now, let me just say about 2001.
No, you can't, because you said Manborg and I let it go.
Okay.
I say this, you let it go.
Okay, fine. That's fine. I had that conversation over Christmas.
Oh, I know.
With Joe about how you just fucking hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to be so diplomatic. I watched it and I kept thinking, this is happening for a reason.
Yeah.
There's going to be a reason at the end of this. I just cut him off. I said, there's no fucking reason for any of it. You saw it, anyway. So yeah, we didn't get a lot of growth other than, I think we saw the pivot, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't a total dick. You could see he was still super frustrated at the end as people were still trying to take his leadership narrative away from him. But he didn't go punch a hole in a wall. He didn't quit his job. He didn't storm out.
Right.
He's like, all right, I'll compromise. 19,
Yeah.
And then they just went with it, kind of thing. I thought that was, redeeming. That was enough redemption for me.
Well, yeah, the movie ended on the guy rolling the die and Scott looking very tense as he watched it skitter around. We didn't see what it landed on.
Right. But. Well, and it depends on what kind of view you want to take, optimistic or pessimistic. I took the optimistic view that I'll just think that he made it and Scott just rolled with it.
Sure.
I mean, he didn't do it with a smile, I'm sure. But
well, but there was a little growth, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
I think it would have been unreasonable for Scott to have had a complete 180. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have believed it.
There was an element to this that I enjoyed. And that element was there was no social media.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That was, this came out in 2013.
I know. But see, if it were done today, pretty sure, because I've noticed a lot of things like this, they're injecting social media for whatever reason. I just enjoyed the fact that it was lacking it, because at every moment it felt so familiar. I've seen this story. I know this thing, but beep, 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 beep. Some fucking thing's going to go off. And then it couldn't have happened. But that's how like PTSD I am about social media.
I think
in
you
movies.
you were relieved after watching Don't Look Up.
Oh, fuck.
Another movie we disagree on, because I enjoyed that movie.
I did not.
That's fine.
I was so happy when it was done. I was, exactly as you said, relieved. Oh, God. Just too much. But taking social media aside, from the personal interaction perspective, I thought this was just as much of a kick in the head to people who do live Miles's lifestyles, right?
Sure.
The whole shabby chic, douchebag, just fucking, it's the same kind of group that they put him in as we've seen in rags to riches stories, right? Even like Pretty Woman,
Sure.
right? She's a hooker and she's getting looked down on by this, the hoity-toity rich people, and everyone in Richard Gere's circle is just like shitting on her, and he doesn't want to make that connection very public.
Right.
And Jason Alexander's character doesn't want it going on at all. Miles doesn't want to publicly acknowledge that he knows these people, he does this kind of stuff, right? It's just a shallow, superficial existence with these people the whole party group was as one-dimensional as you could get.
Yeah.
Right? The most interactive one with the camera is the guy who was filming. He's like pushing for the duel,
Right.
joking about the nemesis, and he's filming the, Scott, and then filming the duel on his phone. He was still super one-dimensional. I mean, that was just it.
Well, yeah,
right?
that was the point of the party goers.
Right. And I think this was kind of a jab at that lifestyle.
Oh,
In that everyone shits on the gamers and stuff, right? But let's talk one thing about Scott. Scott, big as of a dick as he is real. You know exactly where you stand with him. He knows, he tells you exactly what he thinks of you and where you should be, right?
Whether or not he's right.
I mean, but he's genuine.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not going to save him all that much because he's still a dick, but he's genuine. And I think that is kind of the thing where the worst case scenario of gamers, right? You've got this megalomaniac with all manner of issues in charge. You've got people so emotionally,
trodden on.
Yeah, they're just absolutely bereft of like human contact or acknowledgement, and Kenny, right? Right off the bat, he's like, my wife's leaving me because of this fucking game. I gotta go. Right? So he's got some sensibility.
Right.
But no matter what else they've got going on, the fact that playing the game is a marital issue, I think that was kind of a jab as well, right?
Yeah.
Why are you with somebody who's going to leave you because you're doing something you enjoy? He's not hurting people. He's, it's nothing evil or bad or sinister.
He's not like going out to bars and coming home drunk.
Right. Or, his hobby is going to the strip club. Got to have some conversations. There's something for everyone. But here's the thing. If that's your hobby, make sure your spouse knows about it and they're okay with it. Because otherwise, folks, it's going to be a problem. Right?
And also, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just say real quick. And also from the other side, if you're with somebody who does something that you're not on board with, you need to speak up and not pretend that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Thought you were going to say something.
Well, I was going to say kind of like any hobby, there is a point at which it can go too far, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if that's the case. It seemed like they had a weekly game night going on,
It seemed like a weekly thing, and Christ, if you missed it, I can only imagine.
Oh, yeah, it did seem like that.
Oh.
It's not super, ours is pretty flexible. We do play usually every week, but it's also like no one throws a shit fit if we can't do it.
Yeah, we all know that, just if something comes up on the weekend, we just say, not this weekend.
Yeah.
Right? Because, sometimes you want to just take a break. Sometimes you want to get stuff done. Something comes up.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah. I just think of the Scott's tirade. But the other thing, it's not just hobbies, it's interests and passions. Because a hobby is something that you do for fun. I don't call D&D a hobby. I call it an interest. Because I've been at this from the beginning. A hobby to me would be model building. something I've enjoyed doing.
Or miniature painting?
Well, yeah, miniature painting would be a hobby now because I only did the few. You've painted everything in this house, like
Almost
30
everything, yeah.
figures, right?
I could count them. I'm
But
kind of curious. I want to put them all on the counter and
right,
see.
but even like the big guy, the storm giant, I wanted to do that, but it just my head's not there. There's so many other things. I just don't want to do that. So I call it a hobby. I might get something, be like, I want to do this one. And I'll do it and I enjoy it.
Yeah,
But then if I'm not doing it, I don't care. Right? It doesn't
sure.
do anything to me. Video game playing is not even a hobby, just like a mild form of entertainment. I don't
Yeah,
get to do it often. And I mean, today I fired up The Witcher. The first time I fired up a game that wasn't Red Dead Redemption 2
that's true.
in 2 years?
I'm proud of you.
Because I just, it's like I just want to do something, but I don't want to like learn new controls and get involved in a story and start a whole new saga and this and that. But today I thought, okay, I'll do it. So it's more of just an entertainment thing. But anyway, writing is our passion.
Yes.
Here's the thing I think this story is saying, and I think we are in no danger of being in this story. I know a lot of people, you know a lot of people, or at least we've read about, and people who are writers, either script writing, novel writing, whatever.
Yeah.
And they've made movies about it where that's their dedicated thing. They fuck their wife and kids off, or husband and kids off to the side, right? It's like,
Yeah. Go for a week and.
Or just don't ever spend any time with anybody.
Right.
This is my time, my space, my thing, blah, 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 blah. And it comes before everything else. Arguably, most of those people get a lot more done than we do.
That's true.
But we put family first,
mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, for, the longest time, we waited, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and we get a weekend. Right. Because Midge wasn't here.
Right.
Right. Now we put a lot of stuff off till bedtime. We haven't done anything lately because we're still weird things, and having a 12, almost 13-year-old isn't as easy to put to bed as it used to be.
It's true.
So, we follow our passion heavily.
Yeah.
But I think our bigger passion, I think this is the lesson in the movie, our bigger passion is for life.
I think so, yeah.
I would rather sit in a room with you doing nothing, just enjoying, knowing that we're mutually enjoying each other's time. Yeah. And we've talked about before, we used to sit and just read, each read a book. But the fact that we're in a room together, unmolested by the outside world and work phone calls and all this stuff, I would rather do that than write.
I would too.
Because that's more important.
I mean, I've talked to many people who, when they, learn about, and this was like, we've been kind of on and off this like work from home, and we spend literally every hour of every day in the same house together.
Yeah.
We're always together.
Yeah.
You and I. We're like, oh my God, I couldn't do that. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Don't you like your family?
I know.
Why are you choosing to spend, like, what?
It's a mystery to me too. I mean, you've done a stint out of the house. I did a short stint out of the house.
Yeah.
Right.
And literally I couldn't wait to come home at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Every day.
Same thing. And, and coming home, there was no, I need an hour to myself.
Right.
We did have time alone, but that was because we had mom and Lily night and dad and Lily night.
Right.
So one of us it was her night to do something with one of us, and the other one would do with, you were doing drawing at the time.
And I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's good for Lily to, have these independent relationships
with
us.
But never once since the day we got together have we ever said, hey, look, I just need some space. Right. And that's the big, like in movies, right? So I think, yeah, we're well away from this, but the lesson of the movie is don't get caught in that. Don't get caught in this being the thing that you do at the exclusion of everything else.
Right.
Because I'll be the first to say it. And that's my opinion. And listeners, you can, just tell me to fuck off, either, through email or just in your head. Um, if you aren't living life with the people that you're with, family, friends, whatever, if none of that is coming first, you're missing out. And whatever you're burying yourself in will never, ever give you satisfaction.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can write a script, you can sell it or not. If you don't sell it, it's just going to lead to more. We've talked about it: aggravation, pain, suffering, right? Doubt. If you do sell it, it's a limited success. And then what if you do hit it big? You're one of those that hits that fucking script writing lottery. Bam. Or novel writing or music, anything. You're on the road, you're on tours, you're in demand, you're getting paychecks. And then you reach that point where you don't have to work for the rest of your life. And all this stuff. Well, if that's all that you have, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
Right? We share everything. And with each other and with Lily, I mean, this is the family. If that wasn't here, none of this other matters.
Right.
Right? So our biggest passion is just life, family, and life.
Yeah.
Second biggest passion is writing.
Yes.
And I think this movie is really just kind of pointing that out. Scott's all wrapped up. It's his passion, but it's, obsessive.
Very obsessive.
Consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's with people, but he has no connection with them.
Right.
He doesn't hear them.
It's all about him.
Yep. And that's it. And it's just serving his needs, which, if Scott wasn't such a dick and backed off a little and had some fun and joked around and let people play the way they wanted, maybe he'd find it more gratifying.
Right.
Having fun. Yeah. Well, anything else we want to cover about this bad boy?
No.
I mean, it's really worth, seeing.
It is. It's fun.
Yeah. And we're, it's not like
it's on Tubi.
Yep. It's on Tubi. And it lives up to it. This guy has zero charisma.
Yeah.
If you've ever wondered, God, what would it be like? Bam! See the film.
Right.
Pay attention to what's going on. Listen to the dialogue, which is excellent. The way Miles is portrayed, and then the bomb drop, that's an excellent twist and weave.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, you kind of see it coming.
Well, yeah.
At some point you realize this is because he is the nemesis. Right?
Yeah.
So someone has to be right, someone has to be wrong.
Right.
And then we learn, Scott's big, I bow to you, shitting on people at the Q&A.
Right.
And then, shut Scott down,
mm-hmm.
which was, oddly weird that first he's a big dick and then he actually talks truth to Scott, and it makes sense. And technically, again, $25,000 raised. So probably that was the budget.
Possibly, yeah.
I can't imagine this movie would cost more than that because
well, I mean, a few locations, not a lot, well,
it's all local. It's people's homes.
Yeah.
Right? There's no sets. You can tell they did it in places.
Mm-hmm.
Revenge of Zoe, super low budget.
Yeah.
And, they got it done. Right. So you don't need tons of money. So pay attention to what you can do with next to nothing, like so many other films we pointed out that are low to no budget. Put your money in sound first, then put it in lighting, because if you have a shit camera but good lighting, you can pull it off. Mm-hmm. Right. And then, of course, any gear that can help you, and then your people. Yeah. Before we go, though, one thing did happen this week that I do want to mention. It's been brewing.
Okay.
So we did get our hands on a PS5.
Yes.
Got notified of a drop. We got in there.
Yes.
You tagged one, and I was in the process of getting a second one
Mm-hmm.
because we both got in, and I didn't. I didn't want to be that guy who buys them and resells them. I want to be greedy. So we do have the PS5. I just want to say, overall, we talked about it. I have a little buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
Folks, if you don't have a PS5, I'm going to say this: you're not missing a thing.
Well, here's the problem.
Yeah.
It is an awesome system, and the controllers are really, really cool.
Yes.
Here's the big problem.
Mm-hmm.
There are no games that utilize the functionality of the system or controllers, except for the one that comes preloaded onto the console.
Well, there are a couple sports games that were out early on. Well, I mean, you got to be fair. I don't want to be general, but everyone knows how we feel about sports games. They're not. So that's the problem. Is the library of PS5 games are PS4 games, and most of the PS5 games that says PS5 is a PS4 game that's just been remastered with slightly better graphics. Just like
it runs a smidge faster.
Yeah, just like they did with Skyrim from PS3 to PS4. It's the same fucking game. Nothing new. I mean, lately they've added some stuff in patches. But I mean, initially it was just amped up graphics to take advantage of the PS4's ability to process graphics way better than the PS3.
And shorter load screens.
Yeah. On the PS5, it's kind of the same thing. So all of our PS4 games play on it.
Yeah.
Only one that we have, Witcher 3, is eventually, it's been delayed, going to get a PS5 version upgrade.
Right.
Right. And games, there's only like 6 or 7 games that we would relate to that are supposed to be PS5 version. Yeah. And we've got a ton of stuff that's coming. But a lot of stuff that's coming is for PS4 and PS5, which leads me to believe it's just a PS4 game. And they're going to have an amped up graphics. So it's 2022 is not gonna. I don't see a lot of games coming out. They say they're going to. I don't think they're going to be. So, folks, if you don't have one, don't worry about it. Your PS4 is just fucking fine. Red Dead Redemption 2 looks just the same on the 5 as it does on the 4. The only difference is it loads a lot quicker.
So, yeah, don't have any issue waiting until they're readily available because.
Yeah.
Maybe by that time there will be games for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad we've got one, but yeah. I mean, the most fun we still have is Brief Battles. The $10 game that could easily be played on a PS2.
Right.
We love that fucking game.
Oh, yeah.
It's the most fun we've all had. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that because it has been in my craw.
Sure.
I mean, it's a big thing to get one, and it's like, huh. So anyway, if you're not out hunting for a PS5 or PS5 games, hunt for our website.
lordsofmisrulproductions.com.
Boom! Yep.
Nailed it.
Yep. Everything's there. We also have a link tree, which is in all of our tweets and Instagram posts. So check that out because just like the website, it has links to our merch and our different projects and things going on. So do it.
Yeah. And check us out on Twitter. Follow the people who are following us. Check out the people who we follow. You know the drill. We follow a lot of cool creatives and we have a lot of, nice people on Twitter. And
yeah.
I think that's all the things.
That's pretty much all the things. We do what we do. You do what you do. Reach out to us either through social media or the links on our website or email. I'd love to hear from you. Talk about your stuff or what you do or what you've done.
Yeah.
Or what you're going to do.
Especially,
but, got to have something to work with.
Especially if you're a woman in filmmaking.
Absolutely.
Because spotlight this year, women in filmmaking.
And I made this plea before and I'm going to do it again. If you know someone in indie or B-movie realms who is a woman who is doing anything, directing, writing, producing, starring, whatever, tell them about us, tell them to reach out, tell us about them, and we'll reach out.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I said, it is very discouraging to type in top 20 independent film or top, or no, didn't even not top. God, let me get my shit together. To type in women in independent film or women directors of independent film or independent film directors, women independent, any combination of that, what comes up in the top 3 is the top 20 directors of independent film, and it's all men. These lists, and it pisses me off. So, yeah, we're asking you to do some work for us because it shouldn't be this hard, but it is. I don't want to sit and battle the algorithms. If somebody knows someone, well, let's get it done.
Right.
Right? Because we want to bring this out.
Yeah.
We want equal airtime. And, so far we've been seeing some good stuff. And we'll see some more. But there's also a lot we're not going to find.
Yes.
Some of the shit we find is totally by accident.
That's true.
And we've talked about how much we don't find.
We find an awful lot by accident.
Yeah, and we miss way 1,000 times that we'll never find or come across because there's so much.
Yeah.
The pit is deep. So.
The well is deep. I like well better than pit.
I don't like well because a well makes me think of all the kids falling in wells and all the people in wells, poisoned wells, haunted wells, nasty things in wells, zombies in wells. I like pit.
Ugh, I don't like pit.
Pit's bigger.
It conjures up like dirty, muddy, dangerous, broken things and mud, and it conjures up all the bad stuff for me. We need a better word.
We'll come up with one.
Okay.
All right. That's it for us, B-Siders. Thank you for listening. Hope you're rolling into the new year with some direction and some fire in your belly. Write some pages, shoot some shit, compose some music. Quick note, Lily is knocking that fucking guitar out of the park.
Yeah, played us a song today.
Girl walked out here, said, "Hey, I learned a song." And it wasn't like, orchestra band shit. She played and sang a song. And I was like, that's my fucking kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Man, she is kicking that thing's ass. So I think next year we're going to be buying her a real guitar.
Well, yeah. And also, fixing up that is news.
Yeah, let's do that quick here at the end. I don't care how long this goes because this is shit we want to talk about. So
yeah,
we can.
So, my grandfather, before he passed away, he had inherited a couple of his father's guitars. One was a custom-made guitar. It ended up going at auction for a somewhat considerable sum of money.
Yeah,
it was zeros. A custom-made Gibson.
Yeah.
And then he had another one, which was not custom-made, but it's a 1957 Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
C model, just the classic.
Yeah. Still has the label and serial number inside.
Yeah, this is before they put them on the back of the neck.
Yep.
Or head. I don't know guitar parts, so
it's the neck.
Forgive me.
It's okay.
So he had always said that if anyone in the family could learn guitar, he would give them that guitar.
Well, he did offer it to us once.
Yeah.
Because this was back when I was trying to teach Lily guitar.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about fucking guitar, but I figured, well, I'll learn with her. I know enough to get started.
Yeah.
Right. So he thought, oh, well, hey, how would you like this? And he brings this guitar out. I was like, oh, no, because at the time we had just gotten the Underwood typewriter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, first of all, I don't know how to play guitar well enough to warrant having that. And also, my time is directed on trying to restore this Underwood.
And it took many years for us to
get
that restored.
Yes.
So, anyway, no one ever inherited the guitar. Cut to Christmas, where Lily had promised to play violin for the family.
Yep.
And she had promised this at Thanksgiving because, we were bigging her up about her violin. And she said, well, I could play at Christmas And everyone was very into it. And then she realized that she had roped herself into playing in front of everyone at Christmas, which she was very nervous about.
Yes.
Well, she practiced and practiced and practiced. Like, I've never seen her practice so much
I know.
between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And a lot of it, I think, was because she had extra time over break. But anyway, we got there before anyone else. And we had talked to Lily about this guitar, which she had seen before, but she was very young. She didn't really remember.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And she recently had picked up your guitar and been teaching herself to play.
Mm-hmm.
And doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, maybe if you get very good, you could get Grandpa's guitar, because he always did promise.
Yeah.
You know, and we told her the story about it. And then she fell in love with the idea of this guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And decided that she wanted to have it. So we got to my grandmother's house. We were there a little before everyone else, and we were talking to Grandma about it.
Yeah.
And my grandmother I love her very much. She is, she can be a little chilly sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, that's just her way.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking to her about it, and Lily wanted to see the guitar, you know, so we brought it out and kind of wiped it down. It was very dusty. And we talked about it for a little bit, and I outright asked my grandmother, you know, if maybe Lily could have it, we could restore it. And she was very non-committal.
Right. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
And then Lily played her violin.
Well, she gave a concert. She did 4 songs.
I think she did more than 4 songs.
John Denver, Country Roads.
Mm-hmm.
Always starts with that. She loves that one.
And everyone loves that song. It was one of my grandfather's
Yeah.
favorite songs.
She did 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. She stopped at 4, and then she did 2 more because
I prodded her.
Yeah.
So.
And she killed it.
Oh, she did. She did fantastic. And everyone was very impressed. And while she was playing, my grandmother turned to me and she said, I'm going to give Lily that guitar. I think she should have it.
Yep.
If there's anyone in this family who can do anything with it, it's her.
Yep.
So
our 12-year-old daughter has a vintage 1957 Gibson acoustic guitar. Mm-hmm. Now, we need to give it some love.
Yes, we do need to take it to someone who can
do some restoration work on it. There's a few issues.
Well, yeah.
You know, but don't worry, listeners. I'm not going to try it. This isn't a wipe down and varnish deal or put on a string, right? There's a crack in the neck.
There's a crack in the fretboard. I don't think it's in the neck itself.
No, yeah, you're right. The fretboard, one of the tuner knobs is missing.
It needs all new strings, obviously.
It needs to be, the wood needs to be conditioned. It needs a full restoration.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not horrible.
No.
Right? It's not like
it is all in one piece.
Yeah.
And
it just needs to be cleaned and brought back to its former glory, just like the Underwood.
Yeah.
Right? It needed some new parts and stuff. Yeah. And we talked about it. I had to send it off to someone who could do that level of work because I hit my wall quick. But yeah, that's what we're going to have.
Yeah, you can't build an all new carriage for a Underwood typewriter.
No. But I just kind of find it funny. I couldn't get this kid to play guitar to save anybody on the planet. And now she's going to be the owner of a, 57 Gibson strumming along.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be stuck with that fucking Esteban guitar. still only barely remember how to play 3 notes. Actually, I can't remember the fingering for E, A, and D.
But she's so good. I'm so proud of her.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So that was a huge thing.
Yeah.
That was the big Christmas thing.
Yeah.
So, one day we'll give an update on the health of this beautiful thing.
Yeah.
As it becomes more beautiful.
Picture before we take it to get restored.
Oh, so we get a before and after?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we should do that. All right. So listeners, that's it. We're done.
Yeah. For real this time.
Yeah.
Until next week.
This is Jim.
And this is Danny.
And we will talk to you soon.
Bye.